Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us here. In the interest of things, this season I did say that we are going to be going through different people's stories about why they're Christians and what's so good about that. So
Mm.
today I've got a special guest here, the man Moses himself. Okay, so
Hello.
how do you feel about that name, Moses? Have you always been proud of your name?
So the name is actually Mose. My
Mos
given name, yes,
Mosen. Yes.
is Mose. But then when I started school,
Yes.
it was thought that it was misspelled. So they put an S every time they would put an S at the end. But my parents would not spell it that way. And interestingly, they never um, confronted the school concerning my name. Uh, But
Really?
yes, yeah. So it's stuck and it's on all my papers as Moses. So I respond to Moses. And I think the only thing probably that I haven't liked about my name is that there's always probability that I'm not the only one. But yeah, other than that, I don't have a problem with my name.
There's too many people with your name is the problem.
Yes, yes. I'm usually guaranteed. I think through primary school, I had a Moses in my class. In secondary school, I think I did have a Moses as well, whether in the class or in the school. And in college, I had a lecturer, Moses. So
Oh my
yeah.
word. Ah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. But
So
Moses,
until I came here, that's where maybe well, it's not as common as it is back home. So yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm trying to think if in Zimbabwe we had many Moseses. But I always know a Moses. There's
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
I always know a Moses. There's no one who doesn't
yeah,
know a Moses. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
but there you
other
go.
than that, I don't have a problem with the name.
Just, just there's too many of them.
Yes, that's just that. Yeah.
Yeah, when you get to heaven, isn't it promised that you get a new name? So,
Yes, yes.
so
Yeah.
maybe all the other Moseses will get
We
a
can
name.
trade in this one for the new one. And obviously Moses would want his name back.
Yeah. Well, mate, I just don't bring up the old Moses because you confuse my brain. You confuse my brain. There is something amazing that I just heard recently
Yeah.
about the dating of the book of the first five books.
Okay.
But I'll tell you after the recording. Yeah,
All
I
right.
won't tell
No
the
worries.
listeners. So here we
Mm,
are here to hear your story, Moses. Um,
mm.
Look, this is my question, Moses. I don't know if you've ever thought about this. Right? Look, there's so many people, so many religions, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So why are you a Christian?
Uh Obviously if we're to start from the very beginning, um, it's growing up in such a household. Um, father, mother, Christian. Um, Then my mother converted to Adventism. So I followed on. I liked the uniqueness. It was different. The day of worship was different, all that. So I grew up with that. But the older you grow, you begin to learn things, you begin to experience things. And I think what stuck more to actually look at why would I be a believer in Jesus is basically with every other religion, the difference I've seen is the picture of the weakness in a loving God um, is only associated with the Christian God. So everybody else, it's about might and power and all that. But if there's one who humbled themselves, it's a picture of Jesus who comes down as love personified. And
Well,
so
look,
that
I just want to interject a bit here, Moses. Is this why you became a Christian, or is this why you are a Christian?
So why I became a Christian, like I said, maybe it borders more with my upbringing uh, and having grown up in those spaces. But I think along the way,
Yes.
when it began to matter, I think when I was finding out for myself, going on the quest, I met the Mapongas and all these other people.
I
So
do I do want you to talk about Maponga a little bit later. So
yeah,
yes.
I will. So
Okay.
I think I became unafraid to question.
Mm,
So that led me to different things. But if I were to pick out an instant, I think I was on a Sabbath school class and we're learning about something, and there was a question being asked about why people fear God and are afraid of God. And I said, obviously, we've grown up knowing, we were told he will burn you, you will burn in hell. If you do this, God will do this to you. And that, because apparently I came to that realization myself.
mm,
Like it wasn't because of somebody else telling me. I realized that myself at that class when I was saying that. And I
wow.
started from then on. I think that's probably the moment that I started thinking, okay, what makes this God different? You know, um,
Because of the you realize that part of being a Christian was about being burnt. And
with I became baptized because of the. You remember the Y2K bag?
yes, 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 yes.
The world is coming to an end. They literally told me the world will end in the year 2000. I got baptized 1999, 25th December.
Wow.
Looking back, and I'm thinking, oh, this hasn't happened. All those fears I had then, right?
Yeah.
So what do I have to hold on to now if these things haven't happened? If what I was led to believe is this, it has to be more than that. So maybe the basis of now saying, okay, what am I actually grounded in is
Mm.
what led me to the search. And I remember having another argument with another person, and I'm telling them, we are free to sin. And they refused.
They said
And I was
we're not.
coming to, yes, and I was coming to those conclusions, those principles, not knowing what I was planting.
Yes,
Because
yes.
it would be years later that I would actually even come to make sense of those moments early on in
Wow.
my life. Yeah.
Wow.
But probably the most significant is I'm interpreting for this man. Yeah, we used to
Yes.
do that. So I'm interpreting for him, and he makes a statement. He says, if you read the conflict series,
Yes, yes.
and he says, can somebody open Patriarchs and Prophets? And he says,
Yes.
just read the first three words.
Yes, yes. I
Somebody
love this.
stands and says, God is love. And
Yes.
then they say, well, go to great controversy and
Yes.
read the last paragraph, the last sentence. How does it end? God is love. And then he makes a statement. If you read Ellen White books, all these books, actually, let me go further. If you read the Bible and you don't come to this conclusion that God
Yes.
is love, you are reading it wrongly. I was sold. I think if
Wow.
there's a point that I began to think differently, it's
Yes.
then. Yes.
Wow. When you were translating for others, you're like,
When I was
he's
translating for somebody else, yes, and
and
and, and he says that, and they used to call him a Davidian for for some,
oh,
for some
wow.
reason. Yeah. So
Wow.
when I heard him say that, it made me start thinking differently. And then every time I would hear now how the characteristics of love.
Yes.
God is love. You cannot say you love others if you cannot say you hate your brother and say you love God. So all those now started making sense to me in a
Mm.
different way.
Yes,
So
yes,
I
yes.
got sold towards that, and it meant that I had to treat people right. So it was a challenge on my life as well.
Yes, yes, yes.
Until later on, I met now with the picture that became kind of complete, like the most complete picture I got to see when I interacted with Arthur, and then those flashbacks started coming back, and I'm saying,
And
okay,
then
yeah,
said,
now this makes sense. I think I'm settled. So yeah,
wow. Wow, what a
so I think it did happen. Me getting into marriage as well. Um, you view things differently, you view your partner differently, you have to have more grace, you have to all that, so you begin to learn through that. Then now being a parent as well, it
yes.
changes you. So before that, I would be the one who would blast at people, say, no, don't let people run in church. Your children are indisciplined and things like that. And now I've got my own and I have to speak to them
And
differently.
your children are being indisciplined.
Yeah. Yes. So yes, so all
Wow.
that, I think I would not point out a particular
Moment.
say, okay, no, this is, but basically, if I would say anything, it's just the realization that God is love and what that actually means.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Look, I'm very satisfied with your answer. It's like it's got a thousand, like there's a thousand lines down that line.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like you to, I do have some friends who are interviewing people. It's almost the same as I'm doing, but their format is a bit different. I
Mhm.
would I will advise them to get in touch with you if you've got the time, bro. I think they will enjoy your story. Okay. Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah.
they are more interested in things that
Yeah.
about. Now,
Mm.
I know you've shared some moments there, right? I know
Hmm.
you've shared some moments, some pivotal moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would you say is your best memory with God?
Oh, oh. Where to start? Um, I think there's a few that come to mind. Um, I think that probably I would share how I got into nursing school, which I had started earlier.
Yes, yes, yes.
Uh,
But
but maybe
no, no
I'll
one knows that story because we're not recording. Okay, so you better
okay.
start.
So
Yes,
basically, so this man tells me if you ever want to do nursing, let me know. And
yes.
and and I decide to tell him I want to do nursing, and he tells me for me to know you want to do it, you should apply and come and show me the acceptance letter. Then I'll help you with it. So I applied, and when I applied, the day that the acceptance letter came, it came a week late, almost. And the person from the post office is the one who called me. I don't know how they got my number, but they
Wow.
called me. So that was strange as well, because I don't know if post offices back home have those records. So they call me and say, "Are you Moses?" I say, "Yes. Well, we've been looking for you because there's a letter. We think it's wrongly addressed, but it's been sitting here for a while."
Wow.
And so they ask me, how can you get it? And I tell them, okay, you send it to this church, my church, the one that I used to attend. Then,
Yes.
so the next day I go and pick it up and then I open it and I panic because I'm already late for my interview, for my nursing interview.
Oh,
So I call
yes.
a few people to ask them for some transport because I don't even have transport. And a few people help me and I have to go to the next town.
Yes.
It's not in my town, in my city where I live. So I
So
go
what
the
was your
next town,
city? What was
Lusaka. So
Lusaka?
I'm in Lusaka and I'm going to Kabwe, which is probably 2 hours by road.
Yes.
Um, so I travel and I reach there and I'm going and I tell them my interview was meant for yesterday, but I got a letter yesterday. And
Yes.
this woman says, "So what do you want us to do?" Because it was almost midday.
Sounds so sounds so
What do you
African.
want us to do? We're tired and you missed your chance. So just go.
Ish.
And being the good person I was, I turn around to start walking away. And this woman says, "Wait, let's go. You talk to the principal tutor." And
Wow.
so they take me to her and they say, "Okay, you wait, you're going to write." And then I had to spend the night in the school. Because I didn't even have I'd not organized like I'm going to sleep and things like that. So I sleep and then I do the interviews or everything and I finish. I come back.
So they gave you accommodation to sleep there and then
Yes, with the guys,
wow.
the nursing students. So they said, no, you sleep with these guys and so on. So then fast forward when I receive another call from the school and they're telling me my paperwork was incomplete.
Yes.
And I'm saying, no, I left everything. Say, no, you don't have this, you don't have this, you don't have this. I said, no. So they end up telling me, okay, you bring your papers tomorrow. So we meet with some of them, and then I take the papers. They tell me I didn't even finish the filling in the forms, and I finish. Finally, I'm accepted, and the time they called me was very late, around 23. So when I started school, there's
What you
this
mean around
lecture,
23? I don't know what do you
like 11 p.m. It was late in the night when
Oh,
they were calling me
for
to
the
tell me these
documents.
things. Yes, because they were
And
saying they were
Zambia,
sorting.
you guys have got one time zone, right? Do you have different time zones in
No,
Zambia?
no, no, no. It's one.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So they're telling, because they were telling me to say, we don't want you to miss out because you didn't bring the papers that you were supposed to bring. And I'm arguing that I left the papers, you know. But
Yes.
no, but we can't find them, you know. So so
So they
my
fought for you to be there.
that's what I'm trying to say,
Yes.
which I don't understand, that there are people who are fighting. So now I'm getting the story when I'm in school. So this tutor comes to me, and she asks me, "What's special about you?" Those were her words. I'm in
Wow.
class. What's special about you that you kept me late that night
Wow.
till 11 p.m. just looking through your stuff? I need to know. By the time you'll be graduating, I want an answer to that. That's what she told me.
Because she couldn't go to bed without fixing your things.
Yes, until she finished, she pushed for me to get the place.
That's
So
Jesus.
now,
That's
fast
Jesus.
forward, this one day, I'm in the third year. She
Yes.
tells me, "Come to my office. I want to tell you the story
Yes.
of what happened that night." So she tells me
You
that
still
night when we
remember the
had,
story 3 years later.
yes. So she sits and tells me, "Look, I kept your name in my head, and I remembered." And so what happened was, when we were when I finished selecting people,
Yes.
we said, what about this box that's here? What's in there? Then they said, those are the people that haven't made the interview. They failed.
Yes.
And so I told myself, let me see why they failed. And the people there were telling me I'm wasting time. And then I picked your paper. It was on top.
Wow.
And the things on your rate, whatever that your, you know,
You-
that on your document were looking good. So I
Wow.
asked, how come this person has not been picked? Then they said that no, maybe they don't have the right papers, and they don't have the right score. So when we tried to find your interview assessment, you did well. Your assessment for, because we used to do some aptitude tests. Your
Yes.
assessment for the aptitude test, they were okay. So the only thing that we're missing were your record of your results, like high school results. That's
Wow.
what wasn't there. And so I said, but why? So that pushed me to find that. So I hope you will make me proud, that I had to stay that late. And on my graduation day, I remember after they're calling me best graduating student, best first year student, and she walks to me and says, "Now I know why I fought for you." So if there's a moment that I think,
Oh
because
man.
things seemed to have fought against me, but I
Yes.
went to
Yes.
nursing school. So I
Yes.
think
Yes.
for
Yes.
me, it's it's
Amen.
it's it's no one else. Like, I can't even brag. The
Yes.
other story I would give you is maybe how I
Well,
came to the UK.
okay, let me, before you tell me this story, I want to tell you the story of there was a man who overheard a king, the plot of a king being killed, and
Mm,
he exposed the conspiracy. And then
yes.
in the night, one day, someone had talked the king into killing this man who had saved his life,
Mm,
by
yeah.
putting them in a whole bunch with other people. And the
Wow.
king, the king could not sleep that whole night. And
Mm,
so he asked for a book to be read. And when he read that story, he said, someone read the story of how he was saved. And the king said, have we ever thanked this man? You know this story? Have we ever
I
thanked this? Yes,
mm,
have we ever thanked this man? And people said, no, we have never thanked this man before. And the king, that night when when these things were going to happen to him,
mm.
the king saved the man's life, right? And
Mordecai.
yes, yes, this is the story I'm thinking of, that God,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
whether you tied these two stories
Yes,
together.
yes. I see it. I see it.
And also
Yeah.
the story of the king who prayed, but he didn't know he was praying. Uh,
Mm.
Daniel, you know the story when the king was forced to chuck his best men into to the
Into the
lions.
balance then,
And he
yeah.
says
Darius.
the king did not sleep that whole night.
Yes, yes. I see it.
He
I
did not
see it.
sleep. And then he woke up in the
Yeah.
morning. He said, Daniel, has your
Yeah,
God to whom you pray continually been able to deliver
yeah,
you from the lions? And Daniel said,
yeah, yeah,
"O King, live forever."
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes. Oh
yeah,
man. Oh, okay.
mm,
So
yeah,
it's amazing how God fights for us
yeah.
when we are not there.
Yes. And I think that's what
Amen.
makes it remarkable for me. Like, I
Yes.
can't forget. And there's nothing for me to brag about. Like, if I talk about me getting into nursing school, there's nothing for me to brag
Yes.
about. To say, no, I did this, I had these grades. No, it's
Wow.
just somebody who, and because I'm told there were two of us, but the other
Yes.
person never answered. Imagine if I didn't also pick the phone.
Yes, at
Say, and
midnight.
if you remember when I was telling you about uh when pastors say no and then I received the call, and I always used to think somebody calls them. For me, that was the call, which I answered. So
Oh
like,
man, I love this story.
so yeah.
I'm
So
so
for me, I think if
th- yes,
there's an aspect that still sits with me even till today, because I think everything started from there. Even if I were to talk about me coming to the UK, after having fought wanting to become a nurse for 2 years,
yes, yes,
then I
yes, yes,
decided to go, and then it all goes through that.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Now tell me the second story.
The second story I would give you is uh I'm knocking off from work. I'm a nurse now. I'm working, and I'm knocking off from work, and I meet a colleague, and this colleague tells me, um, "Don't you ever think of going to the UK?" And I'm saying, "No, everybody thinks about going to the UK."
Yes,
And she
yes,
said, "No, there are some people who are in the city center.
yes,
They're doing interviews. Well, we had to apply online, but now they have open interviews. If you've got mental health experience, you can just walk in. So I
yes.
think you should give it a try." And I'm telling her they're scammers. Those things don't happen. And then he says, "Well, if you go, what do you have to lose?" And I said, "You know what? I'm tired. I'm just knocking off from night, and I'm going to sleep because I'm coming back in the night."
Yes,
And she
yes,
says, I think you should just try it. Just
yes,
go."
yes,
So I'm on the bus and I'm thinking, because she gave me all the details where to go. Says all you have to do is go with your NRC, like your national registration card.
yes,
So I go home, I take a shower, and I head this place. I get some of my papers because they don't know me, because people who were applying applied online. So they were interviewing people who they already knew. If
yes,
you
yes,
get, yes. So I go there and I reach, and unfortunately I put on a shirt that was for our union, Zambia Union of Nurses, which apparently I wasn't supposed to do because I was supposed to be neutral. So I go, and I'm being
Well,
interviewed by the
what's wrong
chief
with
nursing officer.
what's
Well,
wrong?
because they said, when in the interview they said I was supposed, I wasn't supposed to identify myself with anybody. I was just supposed to put on a shirt and the trousers, and like, because it's an interview, because it might be biased, or if
Oh,
there's somebody who's on the panel who doesn't like that, they
they
might
might
make a
chop you off.
decision based on that. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So I go in, and this man, the chief nursing officer for the trust that I worked for before I came to Scotland, begins to question me with this other woman, and they question me and question me and question me, and I say, I answer as best as I could. And he asks me how I heard about the interview. So I said, "No, my friend this morning told me you are interviewing." He says, "No, this friend of yours must have given you all the leakage for what we were asking in the interviews." I said, "No, we didn't even have that much time." He says, "No, you can't answer like this unprepared. But anyways, it's a conversation of another day. I'm giving you the job." And on the spot, they give me a letter of offer. And
Wow.
I'm still not believing, because I'm like, because I was just like going there for the sake of going there, not like I was expecting anything big.
Yes.
So that as well. And also it took me roughly, because by then I did not have anything, like I had not done my English thingies, CBT, all the things that are required. I had nothing. And the
Yes,
people
yes.
that I was going to the interviews with
They done
had
all that.
started these processes, yes. And I was at zero. So, of course, probably for another day, we could go through all the steps that I had to go through and all the fights, but it's all worked out within a short period of 6 months.
Yes.
My visa was coming out uh, on a Monday.
Yes.
On a Tuesday, they bought me the ticket to travel on the Wednesday.
Wow.
And the
That's
rest
very
is
fast.
history. Yes.
Wow.
And the rest is history. And so I also really think about if that person would have decided not to share that information with me, they would have just passed. I also was not
Brilliant.
very willing to even attend the interview, but they pushed for me to attend, and
Yes.
I attended. So I think that also is moments that I've seen God's hand. I would also talk about, maybe there's a group I sang with called Omega Gents,
Yes.
and we went to we when we would
Like
sing.
a church music group, was it?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
an a cappella group. So there's a moment when I said, well, I want us to be doing more than just singing in church and so on. Why don't we visit people, like maybe those that are sick, but go to their homes? And so we
Yes.
started doing this. So there was this man who loved our music, who had been asking for us to go visit him, and we went to go sing at his home.
Yes.
And when we were singing the second song, he broke down and started crying because he had suffered from cancer. He had a stroke, and he's very young. He had a stroke, but somehow because we went to see him when he was still in the healing process, and he was still chewing gum because his mouth had bent a bit. If you see him today, like he's okay, and you wouldn't know he survived the stroke.
Yes.
So when we went to sing and was singing, I think it was the second song, and he broke down in the middle of the song. And I had to be strong myself not to break down, seeing his reaction and his
Mm.
response. And then I saw how what music can do to
Mm.
people. And
Mm.
then we had this project called IKEA project, where we would distribute sanitary pads to the less privileged and the unfortunate. So we'd go into schools, would go into hospitals, would go into prisons. That as well um,
Yes.
was something that I really, if I would say best moments, I would really enjoy to say, like, okay, I felt like, yes, this is because I would not. Of course, we fought within the group. Like, there's always difference of opinion, but there was nothing like hierarchy, church structure. I know you need this, you need to do this, you need to get permit for this, and so on. No, we just went to those places. Of course, some people fought us, but we really would even do concerts and display the sanitary wear, and then one of these days I might find some of the pictures and share with you so that I just show you
Oh,
what we did.
oh man,
And then
that's
finally, probably I would talk about what there's this one time
yes.
I was on a bus
Yes.
and I was really down because things were not happening in my life. I wasn't in school, I wasn't working. Like everything was just like at a standstill, and I'm asking myself all these questions why, and I'm in a very low, sad mood on the bus. And I'm
Yes.
asking myself, but does God really see this? Does he even notice all this? And
Mm.
then this man gets on the bus
Yes.
and sits directly in front of me. I never got to see his face. And he begins to whistle. Now, the song he begins to whistle is Does Jesus Care? But he only
Oh,
begins to whistle it at the chorus.
oh
And for
yeah.
some reason, yes, there's something that just feels relieved. And I start smiling in the bus at that moment, you know. So yeah,
Oh, that's a bit.
obviously
Look, there's
there's
many.
a
Yes, yes, I
there's a whole,
understand.
yeah.
I understand. I understand. Look,
But maybe I thought to share these.
you've given me amazing presents. And
Yeah,
look, I just want to thank God for what He's done in your life. It's,
yeah,
it's you don't know what it does. I find lots of happiness when I see God moving in other people's lives. It's just like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
wow, wow. Now,
yeah.
in this case, these two music stories that you have told,
Mm.
um, wow. Okay, I feel like I should maybe can you tell, does that story stretch a little bit more about this man in the past? What happens afterwards?
He got off, and I tried to look at his face, and I never saw it.
Oh man.
He
So
got
maybe
off like. he got on at this stop, and
Yes.
then a stop before my stop, he got off. So what I saw was like it's like he came on the bus for me,
Yes,
if you know what I
yes.
mean.
Man, I understand
It's
that. I
yeah,
understand that. Oh
yeah.
man,
It's
that's
one of those stories where people say, "No, this happened. I think it was an angel."
yes. Maybe it
Kind
was.
of.
Yes.
Yes, kind
We'll
of.
see.
Yeah,
When we
that's
get
that's
the
that's
when we
my
get
personal story of what I think. I think I probably had an encounter with an angel. That's my
oh
story.
oh man, that's just wonderful. Uh,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. So I thought, let me see if I can fish this out of this.
Yeah, he got off, and I was just like, he tried to look, and he just walked.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's just wonderful.
Never
Oh,
looked back.
I don't know if you've watched it. Did you watch my other interview with Hyper or Arthur? Did you watch any of those interviews?
I might not. I don't think so. No.
Okay, that's okay. That's great because that protects you, from from accusations of having been leaked the interviews. So,
uh,
so I have you know how the SDA has 28 fundamental beliefs.
right.
Yeah, some people want fundamental beliefs. I'm one of those ones who think, we don't really need
Mm, mm, mm,
um
mm.
for different reasons, not that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't believe them. I just have, I just think my daughter is an SDA. She can't count those things. That even though she's not baptized, she's an SDA. Okay, my daughter is an SDA. She knows
yeah,
SDA
yeah,
songs. She's not counted
yeah.
among the members. My daughter is
Mm,
an SDA. Okay, so is my
yeah,
mom.
yeah.
So is my,
Mm,
probably so is a couple of other people who I know
mm.
can't say any of the fundamental beliefs,
Right, right.
but they don't identify as anything else. Okay? They just know they are SDA, and that's fine to
Yes,
me.
yes, that's
So
okay.
so
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like as long as maybe there can be a disclaimer that look, the majority of us sort of agree with most of this. That sort of I would be very happy with that. But anyway,
Mm,
so I always say, but the only way I'm gonna get my way is if we add more and more fundamental beliefs until people say, this is too many, right? So,
mm.
so, so, so for now, my project is to add one more, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna let you guess which one do you think is the 29th one that I want to add, right? So the 29th one that I want to add is music. Okay, yeah, so I
That's
think.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah, look, not only because I think I can justify it in many ways why we should have it as a
Mm,
fundamental belief, even
yeah.
though I don't believe in fundamental beliefs. But I think
Mm,
if in Zambia, what's the reputation of the Adventist Church regarding music? So
uh,
social.
yeah, we're always known as the people who know how to sing,
That's right. It's
who
a
know
singing
music,
church.
who understand. Yes.
Yes,
If you see young men, like I mean, I did it. If
yes,
you're walking home, I
yes,
let me share one more story.
yes. Tell
So
me.
when before this group that I spoke about, now when I was younger, there's another group that I sang with when we're in our teens into becoming young adults.
Yes,
So we are walking. So what we'll do is because we're four, one
yes,
of us is late, unfortunately. So we would sing literally everywhere as
yes,
long as we were the four of us. So
yes,
this one time
yes,
we were singing on a bus. So we would sit, those small highest buses would sit at
yes,
the
yes.
back where you need four people. So we'd sit at the back and
So
begin to
what's it
sing.
what's it called? What do you call those buses
It's called
in
a highest.
highest? In Zimbabwe, we
Yeah,
call them combis.
or combi, yeah. They call it highest or high seat. Like
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, sure.
So we were singing, and we had built a reputation, kind of like when we were on the bus, like even the drivers would put off the stereo to listen to us sing.
Oh, that's so cool. That is so
So
cool.
so this one time we're going home and we're singing and we get off because we'd get off at the same point and we start walking and we're singing. We walk and then we reach this point where now we're supposed to part. So we stop,
Yes.
and then this woman also stops and starts going back. Then my friend says, "Did you guys notice that we were with that woman on the bus?" and she followed us, listening to us. And when we
Yes.
stopped singing, she went back.
Yes. Yes.
Meaning like that direction where we were going was not even where she was going.
Wow. So
Yeah.
she was
So
just wow.
yeah. So there's those times where yeah, like you don't realize the things you do until those moments when you're like, oh, okay, this is
Amen.
actually what's happening. So yeah.
Amen.
So I was going to say where two or three Adventists are gathered, if they are not talking, they are singing. That's what used to be the saying in Zambia back
Yes,
in the
yes,
day.
yes.
Yeah,
So I think music is more of an SDA
yeah,
fundamental belief than
yeah,
many
yeah,
than many
yeah,
other fundamental beliefs. We cannot
yeah,
explain
yeah.
Trinity,
Yes,
1844, Ellen G. White, these
yeah,
things.
yeah,
You know, I would
yeah.
say Sabbath, singing and not eating
Mm.
pork. These are the fundamental beliefs. And the second coming. Those are the
Oh
fun.
yeah, oh yeah,
Those are the real fundamental
yeah,
beliefs. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
State of the dead. Yeah, those are the
Mm-hmm.
real ones. Okay. But anyway, that's all right. Okay, let's
Yeah,
pray. Praying is not an Adventist fundamental belief, by the way.
yeah.
Then we're not known as people who pray, but
No,
sing,
no, no.
yes. Yeah, but
Yes, yes, yeah,
singing is an amazing thing. But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
let's do the next one. So
Okay.
so anyway, when this is my petition to you, when the fundamental
Mm.
belief comes, when the document comes to sign for number 29, please
I'll
sign.
sign. I'll sign it. I'll sign it. I'm into music, so obviously I'll sign. I'll sign it.
And I don't think there'll
Yeah.
be pushback from Africa on that one. Okay, it will be
No,
great.
no, 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 no. Yeah.
Africa, the Philippines, the people from the Philippines as well,
Yes.
they
Yeah. They
love
love music.
singing. Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
so so we're on good ground. We're
Yeah.
on good ground.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Let's do the next one. Um, so when this is my next question.
Mm,
This is tied to my own personal memory,
mm,
but I would like to know, when did you discover that God is good? You did allude to that, so I tried to sort of save you from
right. Yes.
throwing that out too quickly. I wanted to hear the rest of your story.
Okay.
But when did you discover that God is good?
Um, uh, Probably, I think I would think of the two moments that would still stand out are what probably I've shared already.
Yes.
Um, the time I'm at the Sabbath school class and I'm explaining why we fear God.
What was
Um,
happening there? Were you the Sabbath school teacher, or someone was a
no,
Sabbath
no,
school
no. I
teacher?
was actually at this time. I for most times I used to be the Sabbath school teacher, but at this time we had gone to visit another church. I think we went to sing or something, and I was giving a contribution after they asked this question. But then why do people fear God? Why is it like this and that? Um,
Yes.
and I begin to talk, and by the time I'm finishing saying what I was saying, I realized I had spoken about how I viewed God as well, and how I was taught to view God, this tyrant who is got this fire, and he's gonna burn us. And so I so that begins to click to say, no, obviously there has to be something wrong with this picture. And
Mm.
like I said, the
But
time
so,
this man
go
is
ahead.
talking about from great controversy to, I mean, from patriarchs and prophets to great controversy. All
Yes.
this is enclosed in three words: God is love.
Yes.
And I think that's a change. But maybe if I were to talk about an experience, my youngest experience that I would really think that, okay, yes, it maybe God always had some purpose for me.
Mm.
I'm knocking off from school. I'm in third grade.
Yes.
And so, we would go home in a group.
Yes.
You're boys and girls, and you've got these groupings. And so the grouping that I'm with, I'm looking and I'm alone because they've crossed the road to the other side.
Mm, mm, mm.
And this road was known by then to be one of the busiest, and it had maybe the most accidents. And so I ran onto the road because I look on my right, there's no car. But of course, it's not like there's an aisle on the middle of the road that separates cars coming to the going this way and that way. There's nothing, so they're just moving like that.
Yes.
And so when I reached the middle,
Were you
I'm
crossing the street?
alerted the road, the main road, like
Oh, yeah.
highway, basically.
Oh, yeah, from
Yeah,
school.
from school.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it's peak hours. Well, it's I think it should have been five, after five. So people are knocking off from work. So and
It's
we never really had the concept back then of a zebra crossing, and all these crossings, they were not there.
yeah,
So I'm in the middle of the road, and I realize there's a car just almost in my face. And the next step, I was gone, like gone.
yes,
And the speed of the car, obviously, I should have not been here,
yes,
or I would have been badly injured. So
yes,
for some reason, I fall in the middle of the road,
yes.
and then the car was passing, and I was just removing my legs, and the tires missed my legs by that inch. Then I ran back to where I came from. And these other kids are saying, they're going to beat you. I don't know if you had that back home,
Who's
like
going?
where
Who's
if
going?
you tell your parents something that
Person.
almost happened to you, they're going to beat you. So they'll beat you. And I didn't, I'm not even realizing that I've just been saved or whatever has happened there. I can't
Wow,
comprehend it. I'm fearful that I'll be beaten.
wow,
And I think I told my mother probably 5 or 6 months later.
wow.
I could not tell her. I did not tell anyone that, like what happened. But like when I look back now, I'm like, no, there's no way I could have survived that.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
wow.
So basically, it's like somebody just pulled my feet and said, push them back, and the car
Yes.
passes. And it
Wow.
didn't even stop, it just went.
Yo.
So I think if I were to talk about that, the other things I think I've said. Um, the time I was in nursing school, getting to nursing school, um, becoming a parent, marrying, all those have just really been moments that I've discovered how good God is.
Yes. So you did mention Arthur here. So I don't know. You should watch my interview with Arthur, perhaps.
Mm,
So when I discovered that God was good, I had a chat with Arthur. It was not. It
mm,
was like maybe 6 months, 1 year of back
yeah.
and forth. Um,
Mm, mm, mm.
and
No,
I
I'm
I
very
was
familiar with the
I
story.
was I was refining my understanding of God.
Yeah,
Looking back now, I was refining
yeah.
my understanding of God while I was thinking I was sharing with him. I think I was also refining my understanding of God.
Mm, mm.
What was that journey like for you? How did you resolve the issue of the fire? What happened there?
Um, so now maybe that's where the Maponga story comes in. So I'm now at this point where I'm saying these things don't make sense. So now I start trying to find meaning. And
So, okay. So, Moses, I want to have clarity here. People don't know
yeah,
that, maybe, like you did tell me some things before, but
yeah,
let me tell you your story in my head. Of course, we
mhm,
arrange people's stories in our own
right,
heads as they tell it.
yeah,
In my story, right, you were an SDA who bumped into Maponga without any questions, and then Maponga raised some questions for you, and then that's how you
yes,
you went down that
yeah,
road. But
yeah,
you are saying that when you were in Sabbath school and you said we are afraid of God because
mhm,
he
yes,
basically is planning to burn us.
yeah. Those are the moments that, like I
Wow.
said, those are my earlier moments where I'm actually saying, no, there has to be something not right with this picture.
Hmm.
And then when I say God is love, but then I think you would appreciate the conflict there.
Yes,
How do
yes,
I reconcile the two?
yes. Burning people till they die. Maybe for people who don't
And
know,
yes,
the SDA version of hell is not forever and ever, right? So
yes,
the
yes,
SDA version of hell is not forever and ever. It is alleged that the
yes,
Bible and Ellen G. White teaches that
yes,
God will burn people. Um,
forever.
no, not forever. No, the SDA version is God will burn people
until they're bent up.
Yeah, depending on your level of criminality, like
Yes,
if you
yes,
are
yes.
if you are a
The degree
Hitler,
of sin as well.
yes, yes. So if you're a Hitler, you're
Yes.
probably gonna get something in the range of 3 weeks, 2 months, in the
Human,
fire.
depending on, yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
and then but if you are just a regular criminal, maybe you're gonna get 2 days. And then if you're just just an SDA who just couldn't make it, maybe you're getting
Instant.
5
Yeah,
minutes or instant.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's different levels, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
that's it. And you were saying that the thought of someone being burnt to death and the
And
person
God is
being
God is love.
and God is love, something is
Yes.
not matching there. So okay,
No. So
okay,
yeah, so now that's where I think I started, and then I went into the Maponga rabbit hole now, and
okay.
he's got Pan-Africanism, so he appealed to me at the time, and I was like, yeah. Um, I began to listen to him. There was a time he started writing these things, the gospel according to Joshua Maponga, and I would read everything he wrote religiously. He would
Yes.
post them on social media, and so as I went on,
And were you
something
still
again
singing at
started.
this time? Were you still
Yeah,
singing?
yeah, yeah. Still doing all, you know how it is. You're still doing all those things, but of course the battle is still there inside, and I kept asking those questions. Could you guys go upstairs, please?
They will be
So I
back.
kept asking, yeah, I kept asking those questions um, to myself, and I knew there was no one who could answer those questions. I knew.
Wow.
And then also, probably maybe one thing I should mention is I don't know if you had those pastors. We had those pastors who said, no, you become a master guide, and there's no master guide should not ask questions. They should answer questions. So I was proud not to ask questions because I was the one who wanted to answer questions. I prided myself in that. But then when I got to questions that I could not answer, it meant nobody could answer. For me, that's how I kind of interpreted it.
Yes, yes,
Because
yes.
even some pastors that I remember asking this one pastor to say, no, there's a story that the Genesis account, Adam and Eve were not the first humans. There was another set. What do you have to say? And he says, no, don't even think like that. Don't go into that direction. And I was like, oh, okay. So I knew if I asked more serious questions, they would not answer.
It's like, don't go in that direction.
Yeah, yeah. That's why he said, no, don't go in that direction. Don't even think like that. Like, oh, okay. So now Maponga was the one who was asking the questions with me. But then I'm asking things like, what about the flood? How do I explain the flood? What about, all Sodom and Gomorrah, all those things. And
Yes,
then I come across Arthur, and those are the arguments we're having with him. And
yes,
I used to accuse Arthur of being feminist because I would have this picture of a macho, what a man should be,
yes,
and
yes,
I would
yes,
speak for men and he would speak for women. So we would argue about that. Because
yes, yes,
look, alimony women benefit. When there's a divorce, women benefit. Children, they can turn them against you. And we have back and forth, back and forth. So
yes,
it would chip in pictures of God. And I would tell him, Frank, like, yes, me, I believe God is love and all these things. Maybe because I was willing to even go into Islam, I was willing to go into Buddhism. I was
wow.
willing to
Yes,
go
yes,
that far to
yes.
prove. Yes, and I remember there were people who were being bashed for saying no, God does not exist, and I'll tell people, say no, he's on a journey, let him be,
Yes, yes,
and
yes,
I
yes,
don't know where I got those concepts of freedom from.
yes, 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 yes.
Which I did share also, I think, before to say I argued on with a person, say no, we're free to sin, and they refused. Say no, 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 no. And
Yes,
I think we don't know if you sin, you burn you. Like that's why you're not free to sin because if you sin, you burn you, and that did not align.
yes,
So
yes, yes,
as we were talking with Arthur back and forth, and he would always talk about this. So he would share his story. He told me about you,
yes, yes,
how back and forth, his issues,
yes,
with his home and all that led to
yes.
him saying, "Oh, God hates me," all that.
Yes, yes.
And for me,
We
when
actually maybe sorry for interrupting.
it's okay,
I do have an interview with Arthur where we do share our story because when he
yeah,
shared his struggle, I'm sure he won't mind when he shared his
yeah,
struggle with porn with me.
yeah, yes,
I had just maybe done 6 months of being
yeah,
free from porn, and
right,
And when I treated him nicely, just a short version,
Yes.
I'll put
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just helped him to kind of
Right.
decide that maybe I need to think about how God deals with sinners in the fire. And it's all interlinked. So what I would do is
Mm.
I will link that story in the
Yeah.
in the description of the video. But go ahead. Sorry. I just thought
Yeah.
maybe, yeah. So you
So of
say
course he
then you mentioned
begins to talk
Arthur.
about, yeah, he
Yes.
begins to talk about, no, listen to Graham Maxwell. He gave me the books. I put them
Yes.
away.
What did you think when he gave you the books?
uh I was, well, for me who loves knowledge,
Yes. Yes.
that's my weakness,
Yes.
knowledge.
Yes.
But
I
then
love your
uh
weakness. What it almost sounds like a brag.
but
My weakness, one
yeah,
of my
but
weaknesses is I just love knowledge.
yeah. So but the problem is it has to be at my pace.
Yes, yes.
And I
Okay.
think that's where we fought with Arthur.
Yes, yes.
Because I think which I wouldn't mind saying, Arthur may not be the best version of what patience looks like. So Arthur is probably one who would want things in almost the immediate or in the foreseeable future.
Yes, yes.
So he would want to say things and he would expect me to react in a certain way.
And then you'll be
Um,
like, you're
and I
lying, man.
wouldn't. Yeah. So I think it was difficult for him. But I explained, like he's supposed to get it. It's like, no. So we went back and forth, and I enjoyed it because it
Yes,
was good for me to really hear that. And I don't know what caused me, because he told me now about Tim Jennings. I enjoyed Tim Jennings' Sabbath school lessons.
yes, yes, yes. Okay, yes,
So, and Tim Jennings was one of the first people that I thought was not afraid to answer my type of questions.
yes,
So
yes,
like,
yes,
okay, yeah, okay, this one makes sense,
yes.
because I was disappointed by people like
Don't say people's names, please, if they are famous. Yeah?
Pastor, that one, the famous one, yes. And I'm sure you've seen the clip and he's saying, no, he'll kill you. So I'm like,
Yes,
why is it? And I'm thinking I enjoyed listening to this man at some point, you know.
yes, yes, yes,
So
yes,
now I'm
yes,
saying no, I don't know if I can even listen to him, like sit and listen and I'll just quote all his sermons, which is not good. So
yes,
we're going back and forth, and for some reason, so there's Tim who's
yes.
making sense, and then I realize Maponga missed some things. Like I'm coming to that realization. I'm saying no. I think Maponga refuses to accept that God is love, and he will not see it. Probably he's like Gandhi. Gandhi
So,
who said, "Until you show me
a Christian.
Christian, then I'll
Yes.
believe." Yes. So I'm saying, or maybe we are our worst enemies. Like, yes.
I would like to talk about Maponga as a final question, or maybe
Okay.
from
Yeah.
my side.
Yeah.
I do have two
Okay.
more questions, but
Yeah.
I just want you to. So, how did you work it out on the? So, how did you come to say, okay, maybe you're
So
on your path. Just
yeah.
continue.
So
Yeah.
of course now there are moments now where I'm realizing the things that were planted in me a long time ago.
Mm-mm.
Like there are those few sermons that you heard and somebody sounded different. And
Yes,
I'm
yes,
thinking, I like literally, this is not the first time I'm listening to this. Like that's what
yes,
my mind is telling me. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, probably I should give Arthur his credit. But the truth is that I've seen them before,
yes,
if
yes,
you know
yes,
what I mean.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
And now Arthur magnifies, probably maybe he really just led me to see them.
yes, yes, yes.
So he says, no, you should listen to Graham. And I think I started listening to Graham probably 3 times and I could not go past 5 minutes.
Why?
What I liked,
Yes,
um, I mean, you're coming from fire, so he's
yes.
boring. So there's
Oh,
that. Yes, there's
too
that.
British, too British.
Yeah. So you have fire, because for me the go-to person had always been Walter Pearson. I loved Walter Pearson, and probably maybe I was shaped by him
Yes, yes,
in
yes,
the way I preached as well.
yes,
Of course, there were people who talked about C.D. Brooks, but maybe I resonated more with Walter Pearson.
yes. Okay, yeah, yeah.
So
So you
so there
prefer
was
that
that.
more bombastic style, you know.
Yeah, the black, you know,
Yes.
powerful and so on. But of course, there was a time I used to listen to Doug Batchelor. So I began to reach a point where I'm not segregative of whether somebody's and so some people are saying, no, there's nothing like a powerful preacher.
Yes.
So those
Yes.
are some of the things that started. No, it's a message. You should learn to give people a chance. You should learn to listen.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
so I started blocking out the noise. I stopped enjoying powerful or those who shout, who scream, who
Yes.
and well, if they're speaking the truth, there was no problem.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
I became that person now who was like, no, that's not true.
Yes.
That's true. That's not true. That's true. That's not true. That's true. And so on. And so I listened to Graham Maxwell
Yes.
and I was satisfied.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, this I think probably being a medical person, it just was so easy now. Like I'm
Yes.
seeing the healing model, I'm seeing no sin is this, we need to be healed, and I see all that, and it just makes so much sense. So
Yes.
and then I realized I'd caught on. I think I didn't even realize at which point I caught on, but I realized that caught on.
Yeah.
And my tone had changed. And now I'm talking to Arthur and he's saying, "Ah, but why is he talking like this?" And I'm like, no, but I've been like this. Because for me,
You didn't
like,
see the change.
yes, I didn't. Like, okay, obviously there's the shift to say, okay, I understand Maponga. I know where to put him.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes. Yes.
understand this one. I know where to put him. I understand. Like I now get the picture, like the
Yes.
larger view, like it's called. I
Yes.
see the full picture, and I'm saying,
Yes.
okay, I understand this. I understand this. I understand all that, and I can put them in their compartments properly and
Yes. Yes.
explain.
And
And now I notice how people are telling me, no, you are lost. And things like that. No, we should, because I would say things like, no, this is not relevant. This is tradition. This and people would not want that. In Adventism, I'm saying, no, look, what is the point of having seats in front? Because those were the small things that would argue about. What's
yes.
the
Yes.
point of having seats in front? People should not sit in front. There's
Yes.
no reason for people to sit. No, that's the holy no. So we have those arguments. No, the sanctuary. No, this is not even a sanctuary. We have those arguments. And now you are fallen. You are Davidian. You are sounding like one.
Yes. Yeah.
Like no,
Yes.
you're just scared of what you don't understand. No polygamy. Like oh, listen, and things like that. So of course, you put all that in perspective. You don't just get one thing and run away with it.
Yes.
And I think when I saw the whole picture, I was like,
Yes.
okay, then I saw that. Would say I saw the light. Like
Yes.
I saw
Yes.
the light. So I can't pinpoint points, but even if you heard how I started, I tried as much as possible to remember my earliest moments when I
Yes.
had these flashes.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you
Yeah.
remember a day when you actually decided? So anyway, what's your position now? What's your position? So are you saying everyone is gonna go to heaven then?
Well, yes, in a way. Um,
Okay. Tell me. Tell
so
me.
I mean, there's I think the one who explained it best for me was Tim, the truth
Yes.
about hell. I don't know
Yes.
if you've listened to that podcast.
I don't know. I'll have to find it. I'll have to find it. Maybe
Okay. Yeah.
when
Is
we
that
finish the
designed for more?
conversation.
Yeah.
When
So,
when we
anyways,
hold
there's
on,
there's
hold
there's
on.
the point.
Hold on, Moses. I need to put a pin here. So when we
Mm,
when we finish the conversation, actually
mhm.
I need to pin that discussion, I guess. The one you're saying.
Okay.
Can you tell me exactly where it is and all that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So there's a podcast he has that's called Designed for More.
Okay. Oh, I know where that
Yeah.
is. Let's see if
Yes.
we can find it now, right? How about that?
Yeah, yeah. So there's
Okay.
there's a there's a topic that he did called The Truth About Hell.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So the concept he talks about is where God is actually fire. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, so he begins from Isaiah. I can't maybe say the exact verse where it says, "No, who can dwell with the eternal flames, the eternal fires, and so on." It is, and then talks about the righteous and talks about how even Lucifer walked on coals of fire, and so on and so forth. And he says, "Look, when we talk about the righteous being in His presence, the same fire is the one that does not burn them." because they've been transformed. And then the other ones get burnt. But what causes them to be burnt is not really because he argues how they are not combustion fires,
Yes,
right?
yes, 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 yes.
And so he's talking about, because he now talks about, but what's the substance of sin? Is it physical? Is it, and so on? And
Yes,
and so he says, look, the illustration he gives is when we say, can anyone see God and live? And why was Moses' face veiled? And why did God veil Moses' face?
yes,
And of
yes,
course, I've heard somebody talk about how if Moses had seen God, he would have seen himself, and he would have hated
yes,
himself,
yes,
and he would have
yes.
wished to die. Yes. So, and then of course, that is backed up by um, the story of Uzziah. In the year Uzziah dies,
I saw the Lord.
I saw the Lord. The war is me. And I say, yes, when
Yes,
you see the Lord, that's what you wish for. But then, when you get transformed, He tells you not to fear. But then, at that point, because now it's about the wrath, He's let them go, right? And
yes,
then at that point, He's now showing them who they really are. But not only do they see the truth about themselves, but also what they did, how it made those people feel, and they welcome death. Like the life-giving glory becomes a consuming fire because they would rather die than live with that truth.
yes, yes.
So
Okay.
in that uh,
In that
in that
understanding.
understanding, yes. So if they're in the presence of God, like the great judgment and all those things, probably
Yes.
that should be heaven. So everybody in that instance of obviously goes to heaven, but unfortunately for some it's hell. Yeah, I don't know if you get that concept.
I get the
Yeah.
concept.
Yes.
I'm sure someone listening to this will probably think that you are making it up. It's not really true. It's not in the Bible. So I just want to suggest to people, look, go ahead and have a look at this discussion
Yeah.
that Moses is referring to. He could be wrong, but
Yeah.
he could be right. But why
Yeah.
do you like to maybe just try and wrap that all up and tell us why you
Mm.
like this sort of view?
Because it's the only thing that vindicates that God does not kill us.
Mm,
So
okay.
that's where I got my answer. Like, okay, what about the end of the wicked?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
So sin, when it's fully mature, what does it do? It leads to death.
Death.
Like the result of sin is death.
And that makes God I'm supporting you here. It makes God, when God tells us not to do something,
Yes.
it justifies him. Like it
Yeah.
justifies his law. When you
Yes.
understand how the wicked
Yeah.
perish, you
Yes.
understand why God
Yes.
says don't kill, why God says love one
Yes.
another.
Yes.
Everything just
Yes.
it starts to make sense.
Yeah.
And it transforms even the quality of your life. Maybe we
Yeah.
didn't go a little bit further. Did you, or maybe I'll ask you, how did this affect your family life? Did
Well,
you
the
did you did
truth.
you see any discovery there,
Yeah.
or maybe
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
your theology catch up with your family practice, or was it like maybe your family practice changed after your theology? For me, it's the other way around. Like my practice
I,
was terrible. So
yeah.
when I found out more about God, my family life really, like, I'm still
Yeah.
paying for my sins, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's been
Um,
marvelous knowing God.
of course, I think there has been a difference. My parenting has changed.
Mm.
My being a husband has changed. Uh, Even the way I work has changed.
You mean in
Um,
your workplace?
yes. So, like, I'll give an example at work. There's been moments when I'm at work and then things happen, and then somebody comes and then says, "It's nice to work with you
Mm.
because you are always calm. No matter how chaotic the world looks, you just look calm."
Yes, yes,
And
yes, yes.
and I'm wondering, like, oh, okay. And then this other time, my colleague, I think there was somebody who came to ask something, and then I answered. And then my colleague says, "You know what? You should think of being somebody who reads books." to people, "You have a soothing voice."
Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice.
And then there's times when your patient asks you, "Do you enjoy your work?" And
Yes,
the way
yes,
I answer,
yes,
it makes them feel good. I'm taking care of them. So
yes, yes, yes.
yeah, so there's those moments. I
I,
remember
mm,
the fights probably I had with my wife before this picture are
yes.
different now. Yeah,
Mm, mm.
not that we don't, but it's different, and I would say it's better in a
Yes,
way
yes,
because um I know it's not gonna be she's going to threaten me with this. I'm going to threaten her with that. You know, uh, yeah. So the threat bit kind of is not there. Of course, I mean with the kids it's a bit different. But of course you would appreciate the emergency measures
yes,
where no, there are times when you have to raise your voice. There are times when you have to
yes, yes,
be
yes, yes.
firm. You have to stand there. You have to and okay, if I don't,
They
if
want, they're not going to learn
yes,
this.
it's
Yeah.
it's 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 it's, it's a danger as well. So I have to learn to balance that. I'm still learning because it's really hard, especially with the kids. And
Yes.
you have three, they've got different temperaments, and you have to meet them
So,
at their different temperaments.
it's almost, do you find, it's sounding to me more like you're more considerate of each kid to say, oh, I need to do something different here. I need to do something different. Like you're more careful with,
I try, yes,
yeah. So,
because even with their food,
yes,
I've heard parents that say, as long as that's what's on the table, everybody should eat that. Once
yes,
in a while, of course, we will do that. But as
yeah.
much as it depends on me, if it's possible, I try to give them what they want. Like, okay, me, I
Mm,
want this number of slices of bread, and then this one say, okay, this is what he eats. And then maybe every time I'm preparing, I have that at the back of my head because I
mm,
know that this one will not eat like this one will not eat like that. So
mm.
there's those, but it's all about being considerate, and then it's not harmful.
Yes,
You know, if it were,
yes,
yes, then maybe then I would say because I myself was a victim of saying I don't eat this, and they forced me to eat things I never wanted to eat
yes,
growing
yes,
up,
yes,
which is
yes.
not cool. So
Yeah,
probably those are some of the differences. Yeah.
yeah, I hear you. You know, when you talk about the quality of your nursing changing, this happened to me. I was a disability
Yeah.
support worker,
Mm,
and when I fully embraced the character of God, the the change in the way, even when I went now into studying nursing, the
mm,
change in my attitude towards people when they are yelling, when they are in pain, everything made. I found joy in relieving people.
yes.
I wasn't just thinking about my pay anymore. It was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
this person is lying here. When the bed sheet is crumpled up, this is my favorite thing that I have in my head. When the bed sheet
Mm,
is crumpled up and you're lying
yeah.
on the bed,
Mm,
if you lie in that position for a long time, it's like almost like there's something prickling your skin,
mm, mm,
right? So when someone comes and just turns you and makes sure it's nice and flat, it's a big relief.
yeah.
And to do that for people now, it's for me. I'm not a nurse at the moment for one reason or
Mm,
another, but when I could now do it, so I'm just saying
yeah.
what you're saying resonates with my
Yeah.
experience after becoming, convinced of how good God is. That God is not
Yes. Yeah.
He's not interested in hurting you.
No.
For justice reasons. I
Yeah.
need to do
Yeah.
this for justice because you
Yeah.
didn't. It's just horrible thinking. But
Yeah.
anyway, thank you very much. I will recommend the video to the team.
Yeah.
Um, so I will also recommend. I'll put a link to the video by Tim Jennings. And
Yeah.
so with Graham Maxwell, have you got a particular thing that maybe people can look at? Just checking.
Uh, is it how is that chapter 13? Because interestingly, I'm reading the book after I watched the video, and probably it's maybe about a year after that
Yes,
I'm reading the book. But of course, I read the other ones like Servants and Friends,
yes, yes,
which
yes,
I enjoyed, and uh, uh, is it Can God Be Trusted?
yes, 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 yes.
And then now I'm reading. conversations about God. And the more I read, unfortunately, I can only recommend that you get the set, whoever you are, get servants and friends, get can God be trusted, and get conversations about God. If possible, read it before you listen. Or if you've
Mm.
already listened, read and then listen again and then read again. There's no
Wow.
harm.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Uh,
Look, I was,
Personally, I think you said something about the 28 fundamental beliefs. Personally, I
yes.
think the conversations about God should be our Bible manual doctrines. That one should be it. That's if I were to make
A
a what do you call
rule.
it?
A
No,
rule.
a petition.
Yes.
Um,
That's what you
yes,
would
I would
petition.
recommend that should, whether in summarized form or in the form that it is, that should be the Bible book of manual of Bible doctrines. That should be it. I think that's what
That's what would
would,
work.
yeah. So if I were to recommend, I would recommend all the books. But I think um I really personally, I think it's about what's relatable is how he treats his erring children. I think that chapter
How
so
God,
far,
how God treats his
yes,
erring children.
yes.
Look, I,
Because for me,
yeah,
if even if I were to tell you about the two things that stand out for me in the New Testament in the life of Jesus, it's the way he treated the woman caught
in
in the
adultery.
act.
Yes, yes, yes,
Aside that, the story of the prodigal son, because it's not so much about the prodigal son as it is about the father. and
yes,
and
yes,
unfortunately we magnify more, or we've magnified more the that he went to waste his life and all those things and all that and decided to come back. No, he was already forgiven even ever before he ever came back. and
yes,
and, and that's profound, like where he says it's proof that you don't need to do, if there's anything that that story teaches us, is that there's nothing that needs to be done for God to forgive you,
yes, yes,
you know.
yes.
Yeah.
To, yeah, I think when you realize that the danger, so basically the danger is not God.
No,
The danger is sin. Sin actually is harmful.
it's a poison. Look at the because that's why he gives the illustration of the poison.
Yes.
Rat poison in the shed. You tell your son, do not take this poison. If you take it, I'll kill you. Does that make sense?
No,
Or well,
yes.
you listen, you hear maybe 5 minutes later, there's some sound in the, you rush there, you find him convulsing on the floor. You say, I told you not to take this. I'm going to kill you now because you've taken the poison. Is that what he needs?
It's
No.
to kill.
Which parent would do that?
Yeah, yeah. I remember I remember watching some people on YouTube discussing that this view you're sharing is wrong.
Yeah,
And I just put a comment in there that if you found if you're already going to die from sin anyway, what is the point of burning you?
yeah,
That is cruelty. Like
yeah, yeah,
if someone is dying and you
yeah.
inflict pain on a dying person, what
Yeah.
are you doing?
Yes.
What for?
Nothing. Yeah. So, which again, if I go back to the one that this the thing I shared about Tim Jennings that talks about, the truth about hell, which also says, like, the point there is truth. Like, what burns a lie? What burns out? It's the flames of truth.
Yes,
So
yes.
basically, what will happen is that it's just that there's no way the two will,
We'll be
you know
together. You cannot,
one is
you can't.
exposed.
You
Yes.
can't.
And when it's
And
exposed, it ceases to exist.
have you ever been almost caught to be having done something which is not right?
Hmm.
That happened recently at our house here. I hadn't paid a certain bill, and my wife was
Mm,
going through the letters, and I could
yeah.
feel my shame coming, you know. But
Yes, yes.
but that's just a small, and it's very powerful, the guilt we feel. But anyway, let's move on. Um,
Mm,
let's move on. Thank you very much
yeah,
for that
yeah.
explanation. And
Mm,
you know, I have to commend you for your open-mindedness. It is God
mm,
who was working with you, and God
yeah.
is the one. If we don't resist, and when we've got those
Yes.
questions, God comes through. You know, when you're
Yeah.
thinking, does God really care about me? God comes through to
Yeah.
say, you know what? I'm with you.
Mm,
I'm with you. I'm
yeah.
watching you.
Mm,
I've got your back. God comes through. And this question, it's almost like your mind doesn't allow itself to ask that question until God is
Mm.
ready to give you that answer. But for you,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I don't know how it happened. Your mind asked that question before you had
Mm.
the answer, you know? For me,
Yeah.
I had the answer before I realized the gravity of the question. And I actually didn't appreciate it until I had big pushback from other people.
Mm.
And then God helped me. He opened my eyes. So I just want to encourage other people. If you're worried, wondering about this thing, or if you've got family issues and all that,
Mm. Mm.
try this view and see. Just try
Mm.
and see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard, let's just try and wrap this up as quickly as possible. I don't know. Have you ever had
Mm.
trouble with your believing in God? Have you ever had difficulty where you did talk about that though, you kind of talked
Yeah.
about
Yeah. Yeah.
where you were feeling sad and then God brings
Mm.
somebody in there to sing that
Mm.
song. But have you and in a way, I guess you've answered this question because you've talked about just this period of wondering how does God be burning people and
Yeah.
loving
Yeah.
people at the same time? How do these
Yeah.
things match? You've kind of
Yeah.
answered that. But do you have any other event that's similar to that you've gone through, or what would you say to someone if you don't have? What would you say to
Yeah.
someone who's going through a moment where they're thinking maybe God doesn't care about them or something that, I don't know, whichever way you want to deal with the question?
All right. So I think for me, maybe I'll talk about most of my struggles early on. I had to deal with them basically myself.
Mm,
So it kind of taught me not to rely on people, not to depend on people for the longest time. Like where I just know if I don't do it, it won't be done. Nobody is coming to save me. Nobody is coming to help me. You know.
yes.
And of course, you know that Maponga did reinforce that by saying, no, the Messiah complex. We wait for people to come and save us, the white man, and all those things. So it kind of did resonate at the time when I was in those dark periods. But then it did affect that because I was unable to ask for help, it meant I could not speak to God as well. I could not open up in a way. So I think relationships are very important.
Mm,
That's what I think. So this what we're doing. This is very good.
yes, yes.
So obviously, Arthur, if there's probably a person that did help me to think differently towards friendships and relationships, it was Arthur, because by then I would say, no, all right, those are my friends, but from afar. But then Arthur would always want to be in my face. He would always want to visit. I'll tell him, no, I don't like people visiting, not all the time, anyways. But he still says, no, I want to come visit. I said, no, and would fight about it. You know, um, yeah, no, look, you can't come and see me every day. You can't come and see me every week. Uh,
Mm,
so would go back and forth and so on. But I got to value because one, I saw his genuineness, like where he
mm,
would do things that maybe I haven't even asked him to do. He would help me with things that I haven't even really asked him to help me with. So that took me to a place where I can begin to ask for help. I can begin to talk to people and make relationships that are actually meaningful. So with that, I think the world calls it a support system and things like that.
mm,
We
mm.
need that because if we cannot see God, the best picture or the closest version of God should be with the people we interact with. So like if I talk to Anthony about my issues and he talks back to me,
Yes, yes.
I should be able to see a glimpse of God. So if I surround myself with those kinds of people, it's a very big start. Um, then it will help me to be more willing to see this picture of God. Um, because I'm thinking, but Anthony keeps saying, because you'll be consistent. Anthony keeps talking about this. He keeps talking about this. Every time you say something, you say Graham Maxwell. Every day, who is this Graham Maxwell? So from there, I will not be suspicious of you or of Graham because I know you at
At
probably
a
a
at a
more
personal
personal
level.
level. Yes.
Mm,
So I think that is one of the biggest remedies that we need. Nobody should have to go through things on their own. That's
mm,
that's what I believe. So
mm,
it's unfortunate that I had to go through those things. But I'm one person who, because I understand how painful it is, I try my best to always be there for people,
Mm.
you know. So probably maybe that's that's one thing I would brag about. Say no, I understand when someone says they've lost someone, because I can look back at the people I've lost and I say who haven't, who hasn't gone through that pain of losing a father, of losing a mother, losing a brother, of losing a sister, having known what suicide is. Somebody in my family has done that,
Mate, you're speaking to me. You're speaking to me.
and yeah, so all that and seeing all accusations and to say, oh, there are things that break down families, and I'm saying no, that shouldn't be my story. So whenever I can, as much as I can, I try to be there for people, and in such a way that, because I've probably been strong enough most of my life to actually handle things and know that nobody's coming, I don't really do it expectingly, so
Mm.
which is also okay. But ultimately, I've always known that I've always had God. Like for
Yes.
some reason, it's
Yes.
always clicked somewhere that I do have God. So
Mm.
yeah, but I think I would have loved to see him like that, because there are times I said, but there was a pillar of cloud for the Israelites. I want to see something. So now I think it's important for me to be able to lean on someone and feel their heartbeat and say, oh yes, this is a picture of God near
Yes.
me. This is a
Amen.
glimpse. So yeah, so I think if I were to tell anybody, surround yourself with the right people, people who can support you. Things like those guys who bring their friend to Jesus, find those people who can bring you to Jesus, on a
Mm.
stretcher or whatever. Have some of those people. Don't wait for those 6 people who carry your coffin. Have those people now. Try and ask yourself, be intentional about it. If people you don't have, start talking to people you
Yes.
know uh,
Look.
let people be there, and of course they might not solve all your problems, but sometimes even just having somebody to listen to you is enough. They might not give you money, but just sometimes they might tell you a word that will encourage you. They might tell
Amen.
you are not alone. So yeah, the people might disappoint us, but it's no reason to give up on people.
Yes.
um
Mm.
we've also disappointed and we will disappoint. That's the
Yes.
truth. But like
Wow.
like David, the only reason why he's still a man after God's own heart is that he didn't change the direction of his heart. It was always towards God. No matter how sinful he was, his heart was in the
Mm.
right place. So even as much as we've got all these weaknesses, all these things, but let our hearts be in the right place. Let's encourage each other. Yes, and we should be able to say,
Oh,
no, Anthony, I'm struggling with this, and I know Anthony will listen to me and will help me through that.
mate, you have spoken to my heart right now. I
Yeah.
want to take on board even more what you're saying, about just being there for other people. I know when I've
Yeah.
been in the darkness, and I know how vital it is for
Yeah.
someone to come and
Yeah.
just be there and say, "Hey, I'm here."
Yeah.
Okay. Look, thank you so much. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for that contribution. I don't want to stretch things. Now, let me ask you. So, are you not taking on the religion of the white man and all these things? What's your understanding of how how did you listen to Joshua Maponga and not become a Pan-Africanist 100%? Because it doesn't seem like you're pushing Pan-Africanism. I've been talking to you for nearly 2 hours right now. I haven't heard you talk about your identity. What's wrong with you?
Well, the Bible does say he has created one blood, or one family, humanity, and
Yes.
I cannot segregate. I cannot. Um, as much as we can talk about all the things that we can talk about, but just like in the Bible, the truth is at the cross.
Mm.
So the cross, there's one pastor who made a statement, and unfortunately his sermon was not based on that statement. How I wish it was based on that statement. He said the cross is the place that shows how far God is willing to go to
Mm.
prove he loves us.
Yes.
While at the same time, the cross is the place that shows how far we are willing to go to refuse God.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So everything is answered at the cross, like it's there.
Yes.
So because of that, I'm even comfortable not people not knowing I'm an Adventist if it
Mm.
hinders
Mm.
um me reaching out to them. I don't want it. I'm okay with sometimes even just the tag of Christian. It's got these connotations. Unfortunately, for the longest time, it's always bred separatism, a
Yes.
special sect. And so because of that, and unfortunately, we don't even understand why Israel was chosen out. There's nothing special about Israel.
Yes.
Nothing.
Yes.
Right? Israel is chosen out to be the light, the beacon, to
Yes.
show how things should be. Not that they should disregard or disgrace everybody else. They're even encouraged to take on the stranger. They're
Yes.
encouraged to give food to, and all that. So for me, when I look at that, if immediately I start thinking, no, the Indians are like that, the Chinese have got these weaknesses, those guys did this to us, those guys did that to us, we should no. Even us as Africans, no matter how much we talk about Pan-Africanism, we have tribes. We segregate on basis of tribe.
Yes. Yes.
We
Yes.
segregate each other on basis of how light a person is,
But
even
but
in our
it
families.
but wasn't that taught to us by the white men?
We did that before they came.
Ah, so you're saying we're just as no.
No, no, no. What I'm saying is that human beings are human beings.
Mm.
That's what I'm saying. Look, um, before I came here, there's a picture I had of a white man. A white man will not urinate in the streets. A white man is clean. A white man is will not do ABCD. But I've seen them do that. I'm saying, oh, they're just as human as we are.
Mm.
They
Mm.
bleed like we do. They cry. They feel ashamed.
Yes.
They get angry. They overreact. We do that. It's a human trait.
Mm.
So
Oh,
the sooner we realize that the truth is, that's why no matter where we go, in whichever society we get to be uh, put in, you will notice there are basics that are the same. We all have toilets.
yes. Yes.
Go to the toilet. We all eat. you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yes.
so when you boil it down to the basics of survival, we are the same.
So how did
So
you?
because of that, as much as I love the whole, I think it's one thing not to be ashamed of being African. I don't hold anything against that. There's nothing to be ashamed about being dark, being black, not having the best accent, all those things. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Uh, but I think it speaks to treatment of one another. And there are some things that obviously we know that are beyond our agendas, like how certain people treat, like even governments. Governments have been there for quite a long while in our independence, but they haven't really done much to give solutions to us, our solutions. And so because of that, unfortunately, we will always blame the next person for our problems, which
Yes.
is the truth wherever you go. Because even here, people complain here about the cost of living. When I thought I ran away from the cost of living, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
that we have the same problems. People will say, no, this is too expensive. There are people who, some of us even go to shops that our white counterparts don't go to. They
Yes.
say they're
Yes.
too expensive, but we go. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
So
Yes.
so because of that picture, because of this exposure that I've had, I'm not inclined to side. And also I think it's a hindrance on tomorrow if I'm going to tell someone I need to talk to you about this. And they don't know, but you're black.
Yes.
When I
Yes.
was chanting black, 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 you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
and also I have a friend. We have a common friend with Arthur Lindell. He's white, and so even
Yes.
when I'm saying no, whites are racist, do I include Lindell in that?
Mm.
You know what I mean? How
Yes.
do I
Yes. Yes.
relate to Lindell because of that? He's got a little boy who does not even know all those things.
Yes.
I've
Yes.
seen my kids going to these schools and they're playing with white kids.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, okay. My place of work, most of the people I work with are white. If I behave a certain way, what happens?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And try to be all this African, you know. And also we say no, they divided us because they put the imaginary lines, but we still enforce that.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, as much as they have their part to play and they play the part, but I think like God is in the business of healing, we should be doing the same.
Mm, mm, mm.
Probably, maybe that's what I would. If Pan Africanism is about healing, it's welcome to me. But if it's about segregation and trying to prove that these people are more special than this one, then maybe um, I'll have to redefine Pan Africanism the way I want it to be,
Okay.
and not ride on all that. And I appreciate the issues that are brought out, the
Yeah.
science of it, the economics, and all those things and all that thing. But again, ultimately, you and I will agree that if we want to change the world, we should go home and love
Yes.
our children and love the woman that gave us those children.
Yes. 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 And
Yes.
do you find
So the
maybe
only people that we can save to probably change the world are these young ones, like the generation that is coming.
yes.
Um,
So for me, I support what you're saying there. And for me, what I've seen, this is my experience. Maybe it's
yeah.
false, maybe it's true. What I've
Mm.
seen is I haven't seen people actually be changed by being
Which is the
Pan-Africanist.
problem? Yes.
I still find they're just as angry as people who don't believe in it. They're just as angry.
Yes. Yeah.
They're just as
And
angry,
also
just as I'm just maybe
you're so
I
right. I think the
I know
truth.
that when I kind of believed those things, it didn't affect how it didn't improve how I treated other black
Yeah.
people.
No.
It did not
No.
it was a theory in my head. Oh, we need to be united
Yeah.
as a people, and like there's no real outcome that anyway, it's not about
No.
Pan-Africanism. It's not about Pan-Africanism. I just thought maybe since you brought up Joshua Maponga. So when you see Joshua
Yeah.
Maponga now, what do you think of? What do you do? What happens in your
I
mind?
So there's number one, I always tell myself, let everyone be persuaded in their minds.
Yes.
I go by that. Also, I tell myself he's on a journey. I hope he can also see what I got to see, because obviously I also went to this place, and not only that, because sometimes I grapple with my own pastors who are still in the church. Like I wonder how they don't know what I know,
Mm,
if you know
mm,
what I
mm,
mean. Yes. So I can't be hard on Joshua Maponga. Actually can't be hard on anyone, if I'm
mm,
being honest, because the moment I do that, I'm shutting avenues,
mm, mm,
and I wouldn't want to have to shut avenues. I know that if that day comes and Maponga says no, but you need why aren't you? And then we have a discussion, you know.
yeah,
Of course, at some point it was nice to have this banter, this whole what do they call it, um, apologetics and things like that. Even that does not really yield anything. It's just
mm,
intellect, you know.
that's right. It's
Yeah,
you feel like you're doing something, but you're doing nothing.
yeah. So the
Yeah.
truth is, I think if we can change our attitudes, be relevant where we are. That's where it starts from. There's another question that somebody asked, to say if the church that you attend, for some reason, it disappears from the area where it is, would the neighbors miss it? So, like, are you actually relevant where you are? You know,
That's
if for
right.
some reason you disappear, would somebody go and say, but we haven't been seeing this guy. This guy always does ABCD, you know.
That's right.
So I think it starts from that. Pan-Africanism, let those people talk about those issues, let them bring them out, uh, and also let's do our part as well.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. And I think one of the things that I've learned in my life is when you talk about someone and their beliefs, say it in such a way that when they hear you, they will say, yes, that's what I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think it's a good way to, because I did the opposite. And
Mm, mm.
then I realized this person had me talk about their religion in a very
Yes.
negative, disrespectful
Yeah.
way.
Yes. Yeah.
And I thought, you can disagree with someone, but you don't have to be insulting.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what would you like to say maybe to somebody who doesn't believe in Jesus or the way you are seeing things? What's your final thoughts to such people? What would you say?
Um, so I think uh obviously, like I said earlier, maybe my final thoughts would still go down to in our preaching of Jesus, if necessary, let's use words.
Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm a big believer in that. I think our interactions should speak volumes to cause people to question and ask, and then we begin to tell them uh, so on. But even before that, um, I think we need to be in a place where um, we we ourselves are living what we say we believe. You know,
Mm,
and from that, let's interact with people authentically, genuinely. Let's care
mm,
for people. The Jesus method was, of course, sympathize with people, be where they are, meet them at their need. Then, obviously, after all is said and done, then now you can bid them follow me. So I think let's not less theorizing and more practicality. That's probably the new way to go. Aside that, uh, let's try to introduce, for some of us, you and I included, this came too late.
yes.
We need to introduce this to our little ones as early as possible,
Mm,
uh,
mm,
as sensible as possible, so that by the time they are reaching uh, those critical years, they have a foundation.
yes,
I think
yes.
that's what I would say. So to talking to people, I would talk about, maybe, think of the, what do you call them, mission stories. There was a point I didn't also like them because they would emphasize becoming an Adventist, and I think that's a problem with me.
Mm, okay.
We should direct people to Jesus, direct them to God. Um,
Yes, 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 yes,
then
yes.
that way, if possible, let's not even see religions. And like you said, because it's easier for us to disrespect other religions, which as Adventists we've done for the longest time. And sometimes we still keep doing. But that causes us to be a hindrance, you know.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes.
if the people that were comfortable with Jesus were the outcasts, then let the outcasts be comfortable with us. Then we
Mm,
should be doing something right.
mm, mm, mm. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, boss. I enjoyed your story. We've gone through a lot of, ups and downs in
Yeah,
your
yeah,
stories. There were many moments, especially when you're talking about how you were transformed in your nursing life and family life that were,
yeah.
very similar to mine. But
Mm,
yeah, but your trajectory it's a very interesting one. I really
mm.
enjoyed this,
Thanks.
Look, I think there should be a day when me, you, and Arthur should get together and work out one or two things that we'd like to do.
Yeah.
So I don't think this would be the last time for you visiting my channel. So thank you very
No,
much.
no, no. It
Yes.
definitely isn't.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Moses. My friends, I hope you enjoyed this. Please check out the video that is talked about. The one on hell and the presentations by Graham Maxwell as well. I'll put some links in the description. Thank you very much for joining us, boss.
Yeah. Thank you.
Look, and Arthur, I just want to thank you for introducing me to this good man here. Just wonderful.
Yeah.
It's been marvelous hearing your
Mm,
story. And I just
yeah.
want to encourage everybody. There's a song called Jesus is the best thing that ever happened to me. I don't know if you know that song. There's a song like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I say to people, please, guys, just try Jesus. We're not saying it's real, we're not saying it's true. Try. You
Try.
know, yeah, try and see.
What's the worst
Okay.
that could happen?
Nothing. If it doesn't exist, then nothing could
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
You just have
But
a life,
try.
you have a life
Yeah.
filled with love
Mm,
and wonderful community around you. So
yeah.
there's no downside.
Mm, mm,
All
mm,
right.
mm.
So see you next time, friends.
No worries.